together.
Yeah, right. There we go. Oh, no, I was at least 7 by then. I'm 48.
You have enough light?
Yeah.
Want to draw this hard to say, maybe not. What time do you have? 10, a few minutes left. Maybe a few minutes. Nothing to say. That's true, that's true. Nothing to say. All your questions are yours. So the answers you get are also yours. If you had no answers, you would never ask any questions. These are the questions we need to ask, how to get here. This is Ron Ron Beauty. How are you? Ron is a physicist. Because I have no tangible means of livelihood. Yeah. And no fixed about it. So that's the description. No fixed about. Not homeless. No fixed about it. I never lived there in any place for 6 months at this church for the past 16 years. I'm celebrating my 60th year of traveling. That's all I can talk about. I've been everywhere in the world, even in Eastern European countries, Russia, practically everywhere except China, and perhaps some Caribbean and Pacific islands.
Hello.
What do you have, professional housewife? What do you do?
Pardon me?
We're introducing everybody by profession.
I'm a mom.
And was the first one to break the tradition and show this strange way of living. First one. And we have some judges also from my grandfather was a very successful lawyer. Thought that he was a top criminal lawyer because he saw some criminal tendencies in me. You have to be a criminal to be a very successful criminal lawyer, otherwise you can't be a successful criminal lawyer. You have to know the mind of it. Everywhere, whenever I am on TV or radio, they naturally ask me the question, what do you do for a living? That has been the most difficult problem for me all through my life. As I was saying yesterday, there are only 2 professions. One, you have to be a criminal or you have to be a believer. Crime and belief, these are the 2 professions we have in the world created by us. I don't want to go into see the judge. I'm going to read on the Reagan. The first time I have seen the lawyers giving ratings to the judges. Today's paper. Were they in the paper? Yes, today's paper.
You got the wrong person. I don't read them. I thought when I read the paper, that's what they're coming.
That's something new.
No, it's very
The Bar Association giving ratings to the judges.
How they keep down from. There used to be a very political process to elect them.
Even now it is a political process.
There is.
Except the Supreme Court law, even that is a political thing. For 3 days we saw nothing but hearings there,
On TV.
on TV and what is his name, Thomas?
Clarence.
Oh.
Clarence.
Yeah, Thomas. No other program. Really. You got it, man.
Yeah, that's all they're here for.
Like something very profound. They will be terribly, terribly disappointed.
You getting all this done?
Yeah.
Like already.
Right, they're going to pay millions for these tapes.
Now you have put me in the dark spot here.
You chose it, sir. I am not responsible. I told you who.
Master, what do we do?
Anyone want to
Tell us about your travels a little bit. Tell us about the people that you've seen and the changes that you've seen.
As I was saying the other day on your radio program, travel very expensive. I don't like travel. Let me assure you.
Why do you do so much of it then?
I don't have any answer to that question, really. I'm like a, what is that bird? Migratory bird, and you don't ask the birds that come all the way, go all the way from Siberia to some bird sanctuary in South India during winter, and then they go back. You know? Like that maybe, I don't know the weather. And some foolish people left some money for me, so I did not know what to do.
They travel.
They made it easy for me. All right. Very good. So, that are there around the people. They all the French are intellectuals and the Italians are crude. That's not true. And human nature is exactly the same. Whether you are an American or a Russian or somebody living in some jungle somewhere there in Africa, the lawyer, if you take, for example, it's exactly the same. Anywhere, even in Russia, the lawyer is exactly the same. All professions, the judgment is exactly this is a mix-up. East, west, north, south, mysticism, everything. There is a demand, it's a business. There is a demand, and you are supplying. So I have nothing against it. I have nothing against you in the Vatican. Or any church. There are all the religious groups, all the gurus that are selling the shoddy piece of goods. And America is not longer, but the dollar is no longer the almighty dollar. It's going to be banana republic currency. And they still there. It's still dollar buys nothing there in Japan. They came from Japan. Right, right. And even in Europe, dollar is nothing these days. My source of income, unfortunately, is still in dollars. It has always been.
Even in old days, it was in.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
But at that time, I felt like a king in 1944, 47, after the war with the dollar. It was really an almighty dollar. In those days, in Europe, it's nothing. You want a cup of coffee, you have to pay $2 there in Switzerland. So a little more. So a simple breakfast, they have paid $17, $18 there in Tokyo. Just comes over to oatmeal and lots of oil. Do you believe that?
That's why the Japanese have to work so hard to make enough money from breakfast.
Tomorrow.
It's not the tourists that are spending that kind of money.
House is very expensive. Not much room on that.
The human nature is exactly the same. I was surprised to see some people there on the pavement, shade of course. They pick up all those cartons from the garbage things and put it on there. In Japan. If you try to step in, he will hit you. If you yards away, another fellow there sitting. And territorial rights he establishes. Small area, corner like this. I was surprised to see that here, of course, it is back even these years. 150,000 people without home here in Los Angeles. 7,000 people wandering in the streets of San Francisco. No, nobody believes that this is the world's richest country, the land of the free and the home of the brave. As long as you are not a threat, you are tolerated here. You can make fun of the president, call him names, but really, when you become a threat, you will be surprised how they are going to eliminate you. As I was telling, I was here lecturing in 50s, those were McCarthy's days. I don't know how I survived. I said all kinds of funny, strange things. They could not figure me out. They said, you are going hot and cold in the same breath. Are you on the communist side or on this side? I didn't know.
The FBI.
FBI was after me. I was ready to quit. If you don't like, how they go. That's all I'm going to say. Mr. Like, I do that. So,
How long, when was the last time you were in Russia?
that was in 1960. I don't think I'll go there now. I'm telling my friends I don't even want to fly over Russia. Not that I have anything against Russia. Then I felt that, I went there immediately after 7 years of stay here in the United States, continuously stay in Chicago. And there they thought that I was a CIA man.
In Russia.
And I had a special interpreter following me. She could not figure out. There was saying some nasty things about Russia. But I liked the people there. There was no way I could establish any contact with the people. The interpreter was there all the time, translating what you are saying to them, and they would try. I was surprised to see some mystical strains in them. The people there. I liked the people there.
This was recently.
No, long time.
1960.
1960.
You said, you said that you saw some mystical traits in
People were, very strange people. They didn't give a damn what the world was like. And they were fed, clothed, and sheltered, and and this Gorby tried to stop that. There was a big revolt against that's one thing they like.
How did they express to you their interest in mysticism?
No, it's strange, I said, not they express the people. You could see that. You could see that. This was a comfortable country for me. Not the land of the free and the home of the brave. As a matter of fact, I think I said this even on CBS radio. The day you put a black man in the White House, that could be the day I salute this country as the land of the free and the home of the brave. See, we are far, far away from that. We don't even elect a woman as the president of the United States of America. You are not recording all this. Next time I may not get visa. And I have known America for 40 years. I don't miss it again.
Maybe it's the confident people don't want to go through the hassle of being political. I've been involved in politics.
Yeah.
Examine everything. Sex life, friendships, whatever you said got wrong.
It's a very strange country, as I was saying. If you look at the face and mind of America, the face is changing, constantly changing. But the mind has remained a medieval mind here. The puritanism that you are professing is very superficial. And what can America offer to the world? Economic giant, it is not going to be for long. You can pat on your back and tell yourself that all is right with this country. It is not. you know. So one of those fellows, the Texan who is interested in Jerome, he made a very interesting statement. He probably will be a policeman because your rival is gone now. And without the economic backing, you ain't got a chance of helping the world at all. It's much more serious than what the politicians are telling you. The moment he makes a statement, the analyst comes along and points out the stability of the economic condition. Here I find that this is all I'm going to talk about, something serious. I can express opinions on everything from business to living. Anything you want. Any subject you want. You know. What was I saying? Yeah, you walk through any department store there in San Francisco, not one person to buy things there. I was looking around to find if there were people buying things. I was not interested in buying. You have lots more people here who want to visit department stores and malls. Here I'm surprised. Here.
Very strong.
Here, in this state, not in San Francisco. I don't know how it is like in New York. But Macy's, not one person there. Surprising. That's no wonder that
They just
they're bankrupt, and even Magnum and lots of only the shoppers there. Not one person there. Surprising. That's no wonder that
they just
they're bankrupt, and even Magnum and lots of only the shoppers there. Nobody there in those shops, you know. How long is she still trying to sell that? It's going to be difficult.
I was just waiting for the right person. They finally came along.
New York.
No, Petersburg. Larry just tired me to come down from the mountain.
How long were you up there?
Yeah, when you pursue all these spiritual things, enlightenment, freedom, this, that, and the other, you know, you expect to be in an extraordinary state, in a blissful state. I experienced all kinds of spiritual experiences when I was doing what is that word you want?
Sadhana?
Why do you have to use Sanskrit?
You asked me.
I thought like it is some other word other than I come from
Spiritual
India.
practices.
Huh?
Spiritual practices.
Spiritual practices. I experienced everything, name it. And everything there in the textbook. I thought I was in a blissful state all the time. But at that time I did not realize that it was my thought that created all those experiences. And anything you want, you can experience, but what you do not know, you cannot experience at all. So we don't realize that when you experience something like a blissful state or ecstasy or something like that for the first time, you call it the first time. You are kidding yourself. The fact that you recognize that ecstatic state as an ecstatic state implies that the knowledge about that state is already there. Otherwise, you have no way of experiencing it. Another thing is thought can create anything and put it out there. And you can feel, touch, and experience the very solidity of the thing. That is how all these jokers experience God. And they walk hand in hand with God, and they converse with God. That's how you create. So thought is matter. So it gives materiality to things. So you experience the softness, the hardness of a thing, because we are taught that everything that is there is put in by your grandmother, great grandmother. Credit or discredit goes to mother. We put some aside. You know, it was my grandmother who told me that the sky is blue, and since then, every time I look at the sky, I tell myself that the sky is blue. Of course, if you ask me that this question is the sky blue, I would say it is blue because somebody told me. But the physical eye does not look at the sky as blue. You will be surprised. The sensory activity is all the time controlled by the knowledge that is put in there. You know. So when something hit me, I said to myself, self-realization, they call it in India, wherever God realization. So there is no self there to realize. There is no mind. Mind I discarded much earlier, in my 30s, because I studied psychology as part of my studies, then philosophy. And so, where is this, the self, where is this center? Where is the spirit that these people talked about? You know, I discarded the spirit because the spirit is a Latin word, and it means death. So you breathe, is lost, you say, when you describe a dead person. You see? So that can be all. You are a very successful lawyer, you see, and you have gathered so many experiences. You think you are somebody. So when that happens, is at all, everything is going to come to an end just like that. So that can be there. You see, something must be there. Something must live there. So when people ask me the question about reincarnation in India, everybody believes, not only in India, that virus is spreading abroad too, because all these jokers come here from the East and sell all kinds of stuff here. And so what my question to them is, what is there now which you think will reincarnate? I can say that there is no reincarnation, although I was brought up in that atmosphere. Everybody in India believes in reincarnation. And so when you try to find out what do you think will reincarnate when you are dead, and why are you interested in reincarnation? You are already dead. It's a living thing. Will never ask the question what will happen when you are dead. I'm going away from your basic question, but all that is focusing the very thing I was searching for. And so what I was left with was there is nothing there to discover. There is nothing there to be free from. And the thought that there was nothing there, no self to realize, nothing there to be transformed, nothing there to be changed. That hits you like a ton of rocks. Ton of rocks is nothing, like a shaft of a lightning. Even that is not the correct expression, like an earthquake. It hits you. So all through your life, the stranglehold of thought is controlling every movement of that thought. Every experience of yours is colored by the knowledge that is put in there by culture, society, or whatever you want to call it. So when that is wiped out, as a result of this great big shock, the body has to realign itself to its natural function. That is why I called this, described that as the natural state. And all those religious buffs who come to visit me translate that as a synonymous term for enlightenment, God realization, and not just what they come up with. So what is body? Just a drop of something living here with an extraordinary intelligence. So when an earthquake hits this planet, it's not a comfortable thing for us, but family, many of us here in near months of years, everything is destroyed. So that is very essential for this planet, because the planet has to realign itself. That's part of the natural happenings. There's something which you cannot stop, you know. So it has to realign. The body has to function in a natural way, in a normal way, and allow the intelligence that is there to express itself. So this was a very painful process. I thought I would be permanent, blissful state, something extraordinary, nothing. I was left with all the physical pain and the struggle to readjust itself to the normal conditions. That's why I use that word calamity. But actually it is not a calamity. It is able to express itself, and whatever potential is there, it begins to express itself. The spiritual potential is the one thing that is not necessary, that is not there. So it cannot express itself in any other way other than the natural potential. And I use that word, if you are a murderer, then you are not. Probably you are. Once I met a Supreme Court judge in Supreme Court judge in India. And he visited me and talked to me, all kinds of people, scientists, psychologists, religious people, politics, judges. I don't know why they come to see you out of curiosity. They really put in the newspaper. And we were talking about murder or some such thing. I told him, look, I see a murderer lurking in you. Judge. What? I see a murderer lurking in you. You dispose of all these people, he's talking his right. Then I explained to him, there is something that is stopping you to get whatever you want under any circumstances and at any cost. Not hesitate to kill that person. So I don't believe whatever you say now. I don't know what you will do when you have to get rid of something that stands in the way of achieving your goal. He said, yes, you are right. I have had this murderous thought when people make passes at my wife. It wouldn't say that. So if you are a murderer, if murdering tendencies are there in you, you become a murderer with a great sin.
That's after the calamity.
If there is a potential that is there, all this holy business is flushed out of your system. Everything that everybody thought, felt, and experienced before you is thrown out of your system. You are left with the simple communication necessity of using language to communicate and to function in this world fairly and intelligently. If you ask me what is the color of that, I would say it is blue, it is brown. I have to. So all of us can decide to call this a donkey with another name, monkey. We will relearn. And every time you look at a monkey, you will call it a donkey. That's all that is there. I'm not oversimplifying, but in basic situations, that is all that we are left. So then you begin to function sanely and intelligently. And you are not in conflict with the society. The demand to bring about a change is thrown out of your system, so the demand to change the world also goes out of you. What is wrong with this world? The world cannot be any difficult. How can it be any difficult? All the judges are all God. I'm not unfortunately, as a judge. But the murder is on the increase, don't you agree? The logical argument you throw at me or put forward is that if it is not outlawed, there will be more murder. I'm not ready to swallow that statement, of course.
I wouldn't say that.
No, you wouldn't say that. It's on the increase. It's on the increase. Today you put that down there in the gas chamber. Do you call that? What do you call it? I'm not for that. You do what you like. It's your law. I am not in conflict. If I find myself in such a situation, I pay the price. I don't want even freedom of speech. If all of you decide that this fellow is a danger to the society, you stop talking, I stop talking. I'm not going to demand and fight for my freedom of speech. You may think that I'm a great big fool in the name of freedom of speech. Before freedom, you kill how many thousands and thousands of people? Huh? It's all right for me to make fun of President Bush and all this, that, and the other, just fine. They're all comedians, a bunch of comedians on television. That's all very sweet, but he becomes a real threat. You will be surprised at how they will dispose you off. And so why am I happy?
Do you think that change in society occurs naturally, or because?
Unless we are pushed, we may talk of a new world order, but that's not going to happen, you know. And there was a time when I used to give lectures on such silly subjects, new world order, involving transition here in the United States. Well, transition from where to where? It has always been the same, exactly the same. That's why I always give this simile. The caveman used the jawbone of an axe to kill his neighbor. And now we have the most destructive weapons. So you kill people in the name of God, in the name of freedom, in the name of democracy, in the name of communism, in the name of fundamental. I don't know fundamentalists. We are all up against me. And I said Jesus is a misguided Jew or some such thing. You know. I thought they would come and kill me. My friend who telephoned from England today, he is a Labour Party leader. His Labour Party lost the elections, he said. And he thought that I predicted that. No, I did not predict that at all. So I mentioned that about the reaction of the fundamentalists. Be careful. What do I have to do that? I will not do it. If they finish me, fine.
Does this also apply to the individual? The society will only change from sports to...
You also, Sasa, I'm not referring to you as an
No, I
individual.
understand.
We are all the time talking of bringing about a change. When the time comes to change, you are not ready to change. You know, the change is for the good. It is within the framework. The modified continuity of the same is all that you are interested in. There is not going to be any change because the instrument which we are using is the past. And so there must be a presence of the past to come to an end. You know, you're not interested in the past to come to an end. The past is you. What you call you. You as you know yourself, the you as you experience yourself. That you is created by this culture, society, or whatever you want to call it. And every action of yours is the result of that. You cannot act without thought interfering with your action. So all those jokers who talk about the present, the now, the here and now, the moment, they don't know what they are talking about. This is the present moment. Tell me something about it. Anything you say about the present, anything you experience about what you call the present moment is the past. So there is no present, there is no now. So there is no future also. You are struggling to create a different kind of a future, better future than the past. But the instrument which you are using to create a new kind of a future is not going to be new. That is the reason why I say there is no such thing as new at all in your experiencing structure. The moment you say that it is new, you are saying that it is new. But in the past, the old that tells that it is new. So the interest of the past, the old, or whatever you want to call it, is to capture everything within its framework and make it part of the old. Otherwise, you cannot leave the new alone. You may say it's a new experience. It is the past that tells you that it is a new experience. By naming that, calling that, baptizing that as a new experience, the old has gained tremendous momentum. It is strengthened and that's all that it is interested in. So you are not ready for what you are what was the word? You are seeking. You are not ready for that. So what what do you want? That's why I asked this question, what do you want? And what are you doing to get what you want? You are not doing anything except how to get what you want. So the moment, you see, this is an extraordinary living thing, and you are all the time bothered about how to live. This is living. This is not interested in that question at all. How to live, you ask that question because you want to know. So I have to depend upon you, come to you and ask you the question, how to live. The moment you ask the question, how to live, you have to depend upon somebody else. He tells you, find out the meaning of life, the purpose of life, and every time I watch the television, self-esteem is all that they are talking about. Somebody asked me, what do you think of that? Why are you, after 200 years living in this country, demanding how to get this self-esteem? Everybody, including you, self-esteem.
Exclusively, I'm saying that.
Do you know why the Americans are bothered about it?
I know.
I have an answer for that. Do you know why? The immigrants came from the lowest strata, so they are still not ready, although they have all the wealth, everything that you can reasonably ask for, you still don't have that. Probably it is there in the genes. I don't know. I'm making a hazardous statement. I'm ready to accept that I may be wrong. You know? So that's the reason, the self-esteem all the time they are talking about. When the hell you are going to have that thing?
So,
Yes?
when does the earthquake come?
No, the tremors that you experience are not really indicative that, is that a word already? He's a professor. I'm afraid. It's frightening.
Indicative.
Indicative is what I learned when I was a student. Indicative of an earthquake. The earthquake you are waiting for here in California may not at all happen that way. It will, but you know, I have a friend, the fellow who edited the first book, The Mistake of Enlightenment. I call it a mistake because I allowed him to publish the edited book, although the title is Mistake of Enlightenment, the Mistake of Enlightenment. He studied that subject here. Nobody can predict with precision, exactness, when the earthquake is going to, His PhD degree has everything there, and just before, as I did in my studies, just before he submitted his thesis, he walked out of the university. This is a silly subject. I can survive another way. You can't be sure of that. The tremors that we experience are not indicative that there is going to be an earthquake.
In one's lifetime.
In one's lifetime. It may not at all. That is a simile I am using earthquake because it is going to destroy everything. So, well, you expect something very profound, yes?
When you experience that,
It was, may I stop you? Because I cannot go along with you.
Okay.
You see, it was not an experience. If it is an experience, however extraordinary the experience may be, the demand to share that experience with somebody is bound to be there. So it was not in the area or field of an experiencing structure. So there is no way I can share anything that is here. There is nothing here. So that's the reason why I very often say that this, whatever happened to me, cannot be produced on an assembly line. It perishes with it. It has no value for mankind. This cannot be fitted into the value system at all. You know? It has no value. What value has it? It has no value for me because I cannot set up a holy business and thrive on the gullibility and continuity of the people because I cannot deliver the goods. In a business, you have got to deliver the goods, otherwise you'll be out of business. You can get away, I don't mean you. Yes, I can get away. You promise something, you don't deliver goods, and they live in hope and die in hope. So, I'm not against that. I'm glad. I want you to be very prosperous and become one of the top churches here. I mean it. I'm not cynical. Because I accepted things exactly the way they are because you must be very successful in selling comfort. That's all that these people are doing. And I expect. You see. You do a good business and then you'll be a successful person. So this cannot be shared with anybody. First of all, I didn't know how it happened to me, why it happened. When it happened, they fixed arbitrarily year 1940. And so when it happened, that's why I was telling him, even on the radio, I said, peanuts, as the fellow said, why it happened, when it happened, how it happened, has anything happened? No, I'm not joking. Has anything happened? What happened? The very demand to be free from anything is not there. The whole, that's all. So the separateness from the life around you, that's not the end. The thought separates you, So there is no need for me to preach harmony. This is in harmony with the life around you. So it cannot separate itself from the life around. And the thought separates you, and you keep that separation. I'm not talking in religious terms, the separation, the harmony. There is a tremendous harmony. So the separation has created this whole problem for us. The last year I was here, the media hype. Planet is in danger. What the hell you are talking about? Planet is not in danger. If all of us die, your body will be more useful dead than alive. You are living a useless life. You are living in the world of dead thoughts, dead feelings, and dead experiences passed on to us by others. So you have no experience of your own. There is no way I can experience anything except through the help of the knowledge that is passed on to us. That is why when the time comes for a real action, all your experiences cannot be of any help to you. They cannot come to your aid because they are not, you call them your own experiences. I use the experiences of somebody else to experience things. That's all that you are doing. But when the demand for an action outside the field of your experiencing structure demands an action, there is no action there. There is no way you can act. It's outside the field of your experiencing structure. You will never know how you will act in a situation where an action is necessary. People ask me all kinds of questions. What would happen when how would you react when somebody comes with a gun? Probably I would kill him. The animal instinct of survival. If I can't kill him, I run away. This is like the animals. You fight it to the last, and if you can't, you run away. That's all. Some woman, journalist, a very beautiful woman, asked me, I want to seduce you. What would you do, she asked me. Do it, you will know. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not joking. She never came to see me after. She thought that I would give a moral discourse that is bad. True, honest. That was my response to her. I want to seduce you. What would you do? She asked me, do it and you will find out. Now that applies to every situation in life. I can't say I'm the most vulnerable man because there is no armor around me. The thought is the fascist. That's the reason why I use that word. It wants to control every action of yours. You want to impose all your meaningless things on the coming generation. Why should you want your children, grandchildren to appreciate, enjoy what you enjoy today. What for? Huh? Everything will be different. And you restrict, you see, there is a demand for more and more houses. You have controls, you cannot be here. You are going to destroy it. My grandson may not give a damn for what you like. Huh? What you enjoy, your music.
But
Classical music. I'm sorry?
you are not without thought, though. How do you avoid the thought that you have controlling?
Thought does not, here you are reacting, if I may make this distinction. And here it is responding. So I'm actually not talking. There is no talker who is talking. There is just a talking. That talking is created by all of you sitting here. So otherwise what I would do, I don't know what I would do. Probably look at the walls there or go out and do something. So this is a stimulus and response.
Is some of that stimulus and response coming out of the harmony that you feel with the situation?
No, he thinks that I am negating everything. Whatever I am saying is translated by him within the framework of the listener there.
Yes.
So here there is this is just a computer. This is just for centuries we have been made to believe that we are something more than you see a machine here. And it's just a machine. When you say something, the translation is not there. The translation comes after from the data bank or the memory bank. It is just like it is recording. And this computer does not know that you are using English or Greek or French or some other language. The data bank has that in its memory bank or whatever you want to call it. It translates and throws out the answer. When you are saying something, the listening mechanism does not know that you are talking in English. Nothing at all. You are the listening. The listener is listening. If he does not listen for 1 trillionth of a second, I assure you, you will drop dead there. What will remain after that is anybody's guess. You will not ask the question. You may say that you are living, you are talking, you are full of animation, your memory are all right. You may say that, I don't know. There's nobody who is talking here. This talking is activated by you. It's just like the tape recorder recording everything. It is your interest to listen to what is recorded there on the tape. You are playing the tape. So if there is no information there in the data bank, it is silent. It does not even say data not found. Dead there. What will remain after that is anybody's guess. You will not ask the question. You may say that you are living, you are talking, you are full of animation, your memory are all right. You may say that, I don't know. There's nobody who is talking here. This talking is activated by you. It's just like the tape recorder recording everything. It is your interest to listen to what is recorded there on the tape. You are playing the tape. So if there is no information there in the data bank, it is silent. It does not even say data not found. It's like the word finder. I was telling him, if you are curious to find out what the word finder says about God, God. And then there is a button there, jumbled spelling, dog it says. As far as my response is concerned, it is exactly the same, dog and God. So you have an image around that, It's very dangerous. Don't nod your head. That is the way you function. You are going to be in trouble. When you look at your wife, you don't know what that word wife stands for. You will be in trouble. There won't be any more wife. And you will not replace that wife with another wife. So the dog, wife, God, they are just words. Whatever information is there in the data bank, whatever information you have put in there, it is in the background. So it comes without images. You are always creating images around that word. So the imaging mechanism that is put in there by our culture was destroyed by this acid rain. So it doesn't create any. So if I turn this side, the camera is not focused on you. So it has no way of recalling or creating an image of how Larry Morris looks like. Larry Morris, or even the person you are living with all the time, you have no way of creating that image. So I have to look at you. Even then, whether you are there or not there, it has no interest in finding out what it is that the eyes are looking at. It's a camera, just a camera. The cameraman is not there. The cameraman, or whatever you want to call him, is put in by culture. So even that is not taking the exact pictures, because that fellow, he is manipulating. He is looking into that. So in exactly the same way you are manipulating everything, you is put in there by the culture. It's a cultural input. I don't know if it makes sense.
Do you think that your calamity is something that everyone could experience, or is it unique to the kind of?
He doesn't like that, but when I make statements like that, it is possible for a murderer, thief, con man, rapist, this can happen to anybody. Then all the spiritual aspirants put together. So it's not something that you can ask for, and this is not what you are interested in. But then you see, somebody asked me, a Buddhist monk, was Buddha a rapist? I said, worse than a rapist, because he raped the human thought totally. You know? He's the worst rapist. It was the first time in the history of mankind that fellow introduced the element of proselytization, converting people. Before that, there was no conversion there. Afterwards, everybody copied that Jesus, Muhammad. And he started a sangha. Okay. And then the sannyas, oh my God, he was worst guy. As I was saying the other day on the television or radio. You know, if it was not for the fact that the teachings of Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, used by the state, you know, as a political instrument, as an instrument of power, they used them. Otherwise, they would have remained as a Scottish somewhere, sitting in some corner. That's all. You only have forgotten them totally. You know.
The question I had sort of as a follow-on.
This is something which you cannot really be interested in.
Yeah.
You know, can't be interested in this.
I understand.
That's why I tell the people, you ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
You ain't got. Not that I am the only one. If there is anybody who deserves this kind of a thing, it is not the person that was there before. You know? Sure.
You didn't merit it.
I didn't merit it. I didn't merit it. That's the word, right? But I'm using it from now on. I did not. That's how I pick up this word. I don't even know how to put it together and make any sense. So my sentences by now, you would have understood they are incomplete. It's too much of a hassle to read the sentences. And people ask me, narrating past events, why you use the present tense? There is no difference between the past tense and present tense for me. You may think that I don't know how to speak English. Sure, you see, I did not invent that language. I don't do a good job. There was a time when I thought I was very good, but not anymore.
What do you think would happen? What kind of a society do you think?
Why are we concerned about the society? We are really not interested in the society. You know, the demand for permanence is born out of the demand for permanence. You know very well, one day you are going to come to an end, because you have seen people dying, disappearing. And so this will happen to you also one day. See? So that must be permanent. Mankind must be permanent. That's all that you are interested in. You project this demand for permanence on to the mankind, the humanity, really you are not interested in the permanent there at all. You are really interested in your permanence here. Once, my landlord there in Switzerland, there I spent a lot of time. He's a multi-millionaire. He has more money than me. He belongs to Krishnamurti. He believes in reincarnation. And I know 20 years. One day I was standing out and said, my standard path is that the answer for such question is there is reincarnation for those who believe in it. There is no reincarnation for those who do not believe in it. But if you are interested in finding out an answer for that question, you have to struggle and find out first. Then, you think that reincarnation is the law of nature. We were made to believe like the laws of gravity and all that kind of thing. You just forget it. We just forget it. And then he said, I believe in reincarnation. I'm delighted that you believe in reincarnation. He has no children. His wife is an alcoholic. And then I told him, look here. You are not going to inherit all the money that you have in your next life. Never occurred to me, now on how to. Another fellow, I'm telling you, let's have some fun today. He is also a multi-billionaire. He has more money. He has children, cars, everything there. And he used to come to see me. And I asked him, why do you come to see me? You don't get anything from me. He belongs to so many organizations. He has every spiritual thing. You are the only one that does not demand anything. That's why I'm telling you. You are easily accessible. You can sit here. I don't have to pass this money. He had 5 cars sitting at home. He would take a bus to come to see me. I'm not joking. And then the last, one day he said, I'm going to see. But I said, he had already 2-3 bypass surgeries. I said, if you want to see me, you better come in your car. Otherwise, I don't want to see you. So he came in his car. He sat there for 2 hours. We talked something. And I put the same question to him. Supposing it is possible for you to inherit all this money when you are born again, would you leave it to your children? He said, no. Then after a couple of hours, he returned home, ate his lunch, stretched himself on bed, and that was the end of it.
Boy.
He died that day. Suddenly. Thank God I said, he did not die here. It is problems for me. That's what I am telling you. I don't know what you are interested in, what people are interested in. One very simple thing, whether it's a community or a fellow living in African jungles or here in America, anywhere. He may not be interested in enlightenment. He may not be interested in spiritual awakening. Everybody is interested in one thing, permanent happiness. That's all. Permanent relation. That's the demand of every person, whether he's a cab driver or a multimillionaire. You know, you have some moments of happiness, and most of the time you are unhappy. You have pleasure, and most of the time you have pain. So how to have one without the other? And all of you guys are selling some shoddy piece of food, telling them that it will be possible for them. I'm not singling you out. Because I have to use you because you are sitting right in front of me. That judge right that's all. You are not going to get that. It's not possible. Why it is not possible, I will tell you. This body does not know that it has pleasure, it has pain. It cannot make the distinction between the two. The pain you are interested in. The physical pain it can handle itself, And it becomes more acute if there is a demand for you to be free from the physical pain. The physical pain is a healer there, but don't listen to all the crap that they are selling. 9 out of 10 doctors, this is hospitals using drugs, telling us God knows what they are selling. Even the 10 doctors to recommend that don't. But I'm not suggesting that you should bear pain to prove to yourself and to others that you can bear pain. See, that's foolish. To go somewhere and find out if there is any way you can free yourself from the physical pain. I'm talking about the physical pain. And I was telling you, one of my favorite subjects in those days was the titles of my lecture, the meaning and mystery. One of the most popular lectures, and everybody garnered after that. And then I did not know what I was talking about. I picked up all this material from different sources and made it a very interesting lecture. And I even got $100 here for this lecture. Not enough. Somewhere, Everett, Seattle or something. Women's club or something.
Encyclopedia.
I'll tell you something else. Let us put the whole thing in like to say. Humor. I'm not known for my humor. Nobody ever thought me a humor.
Yeah, really.
What was I saying? This is, then I was in Chicago. I had monks. Yeah. I had them when I was a little boy there, and then see, this is a different strain, you see, and you will become impotent. I did not become impotent after that. I had some that now after this. It was such an unbearable thing. So then I said to myself, look here, you jokers are giving lectures to make more money. On the meaning and mystery. The time has come for you to test. Not the meaning and mystery. How you are going to deal with this terrible pain. I have 2 doctors around me, my wife crying and my children crying. You take me to the hospital. No, you are a damn fool, they said. It doesn't matter. Now the time has come for me to test. You know what happened? I became unconscious. All right, I was ready. Now is the time for you to test, not just your lectures on the platform. And then after a while, I came out of that. The doctors carried me in an ambulance. They were about to give the drugs. I came out of my tremendous relief. That is why then there is unbearable pain. You have to be unconscious. Then the body. I'm not suggesting that you should do it. You take what the 9 out of 10 doctors recommend, Advil or Tylenol or what was the hospital recommend. I watch these televisions because this is tremendous entertainment. I am not going to buy any such product. Now, to enjoy this day back home and Saturday home. Yes, and I bought a multi-system television and VCR so that I may not have to pay money to transfer them from one system to another system everywhere you have a different system. And so, what am I saying? Pain. Pain. There is physical pain is all that is there. And the body knows how to handle it. Now going back to this subject of happiness, it is a sensation. The body is not interested in keeping any sensation longer than its natural duration of life. Every sensation has a limited life. So when once the thought captures that and says it is the happiness, the demand to keep that loss longer goes. So this body cannot take that any longer because it is destroying the sensitivity of the nervous system here, so it is throwing it up. So this body cannot take that any longer because it is destroying the sensitivity of the nervous system here, so it is throwing it up. It has a limited life. People ask me, you must be in an extraordinary state of happiness all the time. I say, what the hell you are talking about? I don't even know what happiness is. How can I be unhappy? If you know what happiness is, then you will always be unhappy. There is no way you can achieve that goal of having one without the other. Pleasure also the same. So I was invited to meet a sex therapist there. And look here, you see, I admire this. He was the first one to admit that this is the technique we are using. They don't operate in my life. I'm a very miserable man. One fellow to admit. And then I told him, you see, your pets are going to have problems. Now, by associating themselves with the human, they all have become neurons. You have to send them to
Psychology.
psychology. They already have psychologists. All the dogs, the cats, and the parakeets you have as your pets. Very soon, they have to have a sex therapist also. Sex is it's going to happen, I'm telling you. They're completely destroyed by associating themselves with the human. They already have. And I tell you, there was one woman from California. She came with 2 dogs, huge monster dogs. And they both sat there. I tell you, they listened to me for 1.5 hours with tremendous attention. No movement. These 2 dogs, of the dogs, 2 dogs were there. The moment I stopped, they got up and started running. And I asked her, you see, they were more attentive, totally attentive. Huh? How come? So she said, I send them to a school where they teach the manners. Oh, God. I was invited to give a talk to the Vegetarian Society in Chicago. $100. So at the end of my talk, I don't know what it said, I don't remember, one woman got up and asked me, is it necessary for me to be a vegetarian to attain my spiritual goals? You know what answer I gave? You can gobble up a newborn baby of your next door neighbor and still achieve your spiritual. So, your vegetarianism has nothing to do. Why I'm a vegetarian? Because I was brought up there, a vegetarian. Now, for a vegetarian, I don't eat vegetables. I don't eat fruit. You know that? And all that talk of vitamins, the time magazine carried a cover page article, and if you don't believe that, I'm 75, what is wrong with me, sir? Nothing wrong. I don't eat fruits, I don't eat vegetables, I eat food with plenty of preservatives, because that's the only way I think I can preserve the body. I'm not recommending this to you.
What about the cream?
And the cream. No, I might come again to stand there because for the first time I have discovered Crema Mexicana, very thick double, triple cream here. It's not available anywhere in the United States. I use cream in everything. I drink about a pint of cream every day. And all those jokers warned me that I will die of cholesterol even before I completed my 30th year. They are all gone. I'm still here. I'm 75. Yes, what's wrong with me? I'm very cream with everything. No food, no. The food, if I have a choice, if I ask to eat something, I prefer a canned one to the natural. We brought one mango. If somebody offers me a fresh fruit, I don't eat them. What is so fresh about them? They keep them in the, the, what do you call, some freezer somewhere there before they, nothing fresh. What makes you think that they are all fresh? What is so wonderful about fresh vegetables? There is nothing. Vegetables I don't eat. I eat only carbohydrates. Some energy necessary for me. The exercise, ride in the car. 1800 riding in the car. That's my physical exercise. From here to the bedroom. It's not a laughing matter, it's a fact. I am not recommending this to you. I raised my children on
I see it every day.
laughing.
Carbohydrates and creams in the diet. Verifying.
Candle soup. I'm not plugging in some candle.
Flavored with food lettuce. Trace of coffee.
And mini rice.
Trace in the
Do you know how they make the mini rice? And they cook them until it becomes very soft. And they take away the water content. Dehydrate it and then press them into the shape of rice. So that's wrong. Double polish, triple polish. So what you do is you put ideas in your stuff and wear names. This is only $2. If you want to buy there in Fifth Avenue, you have to pay $160. Big name. So you wear names and put ideas in your stuff. Unique ideas. That's all. What to eat? The moment you put that question to yourself, you have created all forms, and then you have to make it discussion. Yeah, that's right. Very serious.
What do you think would happen if everybody had a calamity?
Yes, that is a hypothetical question you are asking. One of the top psychologists, her book, I don't remember the dream something, she lives in Australia, million copies sold. She asked me the same, but you'll be out of job. All these fellows who are selling, they will all be out of job. Lawyers will be out of job, the priests will be out of job, everybody will be out of job. Because you have organized the society in such a way that I cannot even eat fruits there. That fruit tree is either in your compound or the government home. There is no way I can survive in this world without fighting for my share. If I have no way of surviving, probably I would become a travel agent or cook, eat something, good cook. So that's not it. You limit them to food, clothing and shelter, it's not a problem. Then your needs and goals remain the same. The spiritual goal has to go first. The spiritual goal does not necessarily mean awakening of spirituality, spiritual awakening or moksha liberation. Any goal, it doesn't matter. So all that you are doing to reach that goal is, as I was saying, it is not a spiritual thing. I do not restrain myself, control myself, nothing. If I see something, if I want that, the means to have that must be it. Otherwise, I wish I had that struggle for that. Is absent here, the goals and my needs are the same. I don't have any need, any goal out of my reach. If I was telling you I cannot afford to travel anymore, so I don't travel. Finish. I'm not here to liberate it. I'm here to free. How many times I see the same thing in New York or San Francisco. I'm not going to leave my heart behind in San Francisco. I don't have any heart. So anybody who practices kindness, love, fellowship, they will all die of cardiac arrest. The heart is not there for any purpose other than to take care of it. Otherwise, if you use it to be kind, you will certainly have a cardiac arrest. It is there only to pump blood. If you are free from this demand, you will be surprised that you cannot listen to your own heart. You have to listen to the heartbeat. When you are not listening to your thought, when nothing is happening there around you, even the mosquito, somebody is flushing the toilet there. That is the same as listening to Beethoven's Ninth Symphony or Fifth Symphony. Not that you put both of them on the same level. The This listening mechanism listens to that as exactly the same thing, the listening mechanism. So it doesn't make any distinction between Beethoven's ninth symphony and fifth symphony. Supposed to be. I walked out first time. When they forced me to listen to Beethoven, and so that's all. Then you have to listen to the heartbeat, and there is nothing happening around you, and the blood flowing through your veins. It is like a river in space. It's an extraordinary thing. So there is one thing I want to emphasize, overemphasize. The void, the emptiness doesn't exist. Always occupied with whatever is happening there. Always occupied. There is not one moment of silence. Kick all those bastards in their pants and throw them out. Anybody who talks of silence, there is no such thing as a silence. The silence you are interested in is to create a louder noise there to suppress the noise of your thought. That's the noisiest thing that is there. What after all is thought is sound, noise. You love that noise, and all these mantras, all these meditations, the repetition of all that nonsense is to produce louder noise there to suppress the noise of your thought. Thought is not there, it doesn't exist. Let alone thinker. What is the thought? The question that we ask, what is thought is their thought? Those questions are born out of the assumption that there is such a thing as a thought. If you are really interested in finding out, the question itself is absurd. What is there a thought? We assume that there is a thought. Correct. You have to separate yourself from thought. Otherwise you cannot look at thought. You cannot look at anything. You have not looked at anything in your life. I'm telling you. You project the knowledge you have on the object you are looking at. And that is what you see there. The physical eye cannot see this as a chair, as white or blue. So when once that happens there, what you see there is about thought but not thought. About thought is put in by your culture. So there is no thought there. The thought is memory. Noise. Sound. Thought is sound. Chair. Man. Woman. Wife. Brother. Blue. That's all that is there. There's nothing else there. So what you see there is about thought but not thought. Thought is very slow. It is not as fast as you imagine it to be. First it's like the thunder and lightning. So you first see the lightning, and then the thunder. You hear the thunder. So in exactly the same way, this is moving so fast that there is no time for the thought to capture it, contain it, and experience it. No time. It's moving so fast. So going back to that, there is no such thing as a silence there at all. It is occupied with whatever is happening there. You are preoccupied with all things. The preoccupation is your thought. What will happen? What is worry? What is worry? Worry is always about the past or the future. There can't be any worry in the present. If I acted that way, things would have been different. What is the point? Too late. You just think about it. Thinking is how to get what you want. That's all that you are doing. The thinking is not there, the goal is not there. So going back to the question of enlightenment, this hit me. See, I knew what enlightenment was. The knowledge was there. That knowledge until that point said you are not enlightened. Right. Then something hit me. And the same thing that said you are not enlightened started saying you are enlightened. And my question was, how the hell do you know that you are enlightened? Until yesterday you said to yourself that you were not enlightened. Because in knowledge, the description of an enlightened man told me you are not enlightened. So now you are enlightened. It's the same thing that tells you now that you are enlightened. Look, buddy, you have you are still there square one. Yesterday you asked the question. Today you are asking the same question. There is no difference. You know that? Like a blindfold, it's how the hell do you know that you are in the same state as Buddha, same state as all the great spiritual teachers? How the hell do you know it's the same knowledge, same description that is there? Not enlightened, started saying you are enlightened. And my question was, how the hell do you know that you are enlightened? Until yesterday you said to yourself that you were not enlightened. Because in knowledge, the description of an enlightened man told me you are not enlightened. So now you are enlightened. It's the same thing that tells you now that you are enlightened. Look, buddy, you are still there square one. Yesterday you asked the question. Today you are asking the same question. There is no difference. You know that? Like a blindfold, it's how the hell do you know that you are in the same state as Buddha, same state as all the great spiritual teachers? How the hell do you know it's the same knowledge, same description that is there, that tells you now you are in the same state? At that time I would have established a tremendous organization and tell everybody I am in the same state. But this question occurred to me, how the hell do you know that you are in the same state as Buddha? It is the same knowledge that is in operation there. This is work at thinker's dance. You have not moved 1 inch from square one. This is better thing. It went on and on and on and on, finished. All the knowledge about enlightenment. And along with it, every knowledge you have, except these basic things. If you ask me what is this, I will say it is blue, it is brown, it is a man. There it stops. The whole image that is there, built around that, is finished. So you can't be interested in this kind of thing. I know very well that you are not going to get this, because if you want this, no chance. Can't part with $1 bill. You see, you know, what you feel after something you part with. You can part with it as a charity you are giving. You know, you feel good. That is what they call the do-gooders high. The hormonal disturbance. Doing good unto others. The chemical disturbance there. And you feel, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. We grab everything that belongs to everybody on this planet. And this planet can feed 12 billion people if what they say is correct. Without the help of your technological achievements and technological know, why out of 5 billion people, 3/4 of them are underfed and starving? I want to know. Because I have grabbed everything for myself. And I want to hold on to that, not only for myself, but coming generations, my nation, my thing. And everybody asked for me about this question. This is a land of enchantment. How do you like it? It's wonderful. But don't forget, this is the land where the nuclear age was born. So it's going to wipe us all out one day. It's a gloomy song. No, not that. May not, but it's bound. And here also it's a nuclear explosion. From then on it goes on and on and on. It doesn't give any chance for anything to accumulate there. You know? Accumulation of money is easy, but accumulation of experience, boy, that's worse. The knowledge that's the property, intellectual property. That's why my books, so-called books, have no copyright. You see, because those people are not honest, decorous, decent enough to admit the source. As long as you suppress the source, you are original. Very soon these computers will tell us every word, every phrase, everything, you know. They are putting there. My word finder has 180,000 words and 600,000 synonyms and antonyms. Why the hell did I have to memorize all those things in those days? Wasted a lot of time. If we don't wipe out ourselves, the Alzheimer's disease will take care of us because we are using that memory for purposes for which it is not intended, to achieve your spiritual growth. They are the worst. Because through that you are going to achieve this goal of permanent happiness, permanent pleasure. That's what they are telling us. God is the extension of the same pleasure mood. So if I realize God, if I attain moksha, if I reach my goal, my problems will be solved. That's all that you are interested in. You know, that is the one that is perpetuating this all the time, keeping it there. If you can't part with something, how the hell you are going to part with the totality of knowledge that is there in you? Is it a joke? Nothing is going to happen to you. I am not suggesting that you should throw away your money. That is equally foolish. You know? It's not in your hands. It is, I wish, no chance. I want, no chance. Why not me? No chance.